Hey folks, welcome back to Challenged. Today I'm back in the shop working on my 1957 Ford Fairlane. I picked this up over the summer for very inexpensive price, and the thing is in pretty darn good shape. Just a neat car. I never dreamed of actually having one, but when I saw it, I was like, yeah, I got a 57 Chevy, I want one of these too. And normally the first thing that I do whenever I work on these projects is the brakes, and that's exactly what I've been working on. I got the rear brakes replaced, I did the pads, the wheel cylinder, resurfaced the rotors, of course new soft lines, but it's time to move on to the front end of this. And there's not a ton of aftermarket support for these cars, and I wanted to change to disc brakes. And there is a couple of companies that can do this. Wilwood can do it, Leed Brakes can do it, and then there's a guy, Tomsclassic, on eBay that offers a kit for these. The first two options are really expensive. I'm sure they're great kits, they're just incredibly expensive. And I didn't want to put a ton of money into this car. I wanted to make it decent. I really want to make it a daily driver type of car, because that's actually what I'd like to do with it. So, but I didn't want to put just tons and tons of money into it. So that Tomsclassic kit on eBay was the cheapest kit that's out there. And there's nobody on YouTube that's showing how to install these on these vehicles. So I figured, well, I might as well do it. I took the time already and did the passenger side of this just so that I could figure out how to do it. Now we're going to work on the driver's side, and I'm going to show you what it took to do. This kit will fit 1957 through 1960 full-size Ford cars. That's the Fairlanes, Rancheros, Starliners, Thunderbird, also the 61 Fairlane, the 62 and 63 Galaxie and Sunliner. That is what this kit is specifically designed for. Here are the parts that come in the kit. So you can see it does have everything needed to do this, including different size bearings depending on the vehicle that you're putting it in, as well as, of course, really nice looking discs. And then mine also came with the power booster, as well as the new master cylinder and proportioning valve. This is what the finished passenger side looks like. And looks like really nice components. Everything fit very well. Even came with the new hose. Everything that you needed is in this kit. And it's not terribly hard to install, but it does come with some instructions, and these instructions are not the clearest things in the world. For the sake of time, I'm not going to show you how to take everything apart. I'm going to assume that you know how to do it. But this backing plate does have to come off, and it's just held on by a bolt right there, a bolt right there, as well as a nut right here. Just take those off. That backing plate comes right off. Notice I just snipped the line as well. You're not using the old line. The next step is to remove this thing right here. And this is held in, it goes through this spindle with a nut on the back side. Just use a 13/16, good size breaker bar, and turn it the correct way. And it breaks right off. And then this bolt comes right out, and you might just have to give this a tap with a hammer. And that's it. Next, I'd suggest cleaning up your spindles a little bit, because there's going to be certain parts of it that you're going to be grinding on. And it's a little easier to grind when you get all the goop off of it first. Your next step is to grab this bracket right here. This big hole right at the top is supposed to line up with that big hole right here. This little hole right here needs to line up with the back side of this hole right here. So it's got to fit in there just like that. However, it does not naturally fit. And of course, you have to do some grinding. The instructions say you need to do some grinding, but they don't tell you where you need to do the grinding. So there's a couple of places to start with, and then we're going to move on to the back side. To start, you're going to want to grind off some of this parting line that is just right here, and there's another parting line that's right here. Grind off that until it is flat with the rest of it. The best tool here is definitely going to be a grinder. Don't forget hearing protection, eye protection. These parts are pretty easy. This doesn't take long to grind that down to where it's nice and flat with the rest of it. Same with that. Now if you have to do a little bit more, you do a little bit more. Now we're going to move on to the back side of this, and for that you're going to need some type of a die grinder that can chew up metal. I have one here that it's for ferrous metal, so cast iron generally. And I normally use this for porting heads, but it's perfect for doing this as well. The main thing that you're trying to do here on this back side is to get that bracket to sit flat against this piece. Now we're looking at the back of this spindle. And again, this bracket has to sit up against this hole. And this side of it needs to be ground away. So we're not trying to change the depth of the back of this at all. We're just trying to make more of it flat, meaning we're going to have to take some of this side off of it. Well, I've ground it over a little ways, and now the bracket does sit down here nice and flat. If you can see along the top there, you can tell that I took out a little bit of material there. Now we take our bracket, we slide it in place, get it nice and lined up with this top hole, and then see how this hole lines up right here. And everything sits nice and flat on the back side. However, I can tell that the bracket back here is sitting up just a little bit too much. I've ground away that parting line that's up here, and I've ground a little bit more, but I don't want to take any more out of this knuckle. So at this point, I'm going to start taking some material out of the bottom of this bracket right here. I don't have to take a ton out, but I do need to take a little bit. And if you can see on this, I did ease over my edges just a little bit with the grinder just to make it fit a little bit easier. I don't want to take any material really out of this side, as that hole is pretty close to the outside, so I don't want to weaken this bracket. Didn't take too much, just right out of this area here, and everything lines up now. So at this point we're ready for assembly. Since I did do some grinding on here, caused some bare metal, I am going to hit it with a little bit of paint that I have sitting around. While I wait for this paint to dry, I'm going to locate which bearings I have. This kit comes with 2 different sets of bearings, and it depends on the year of your vehicle. This is the earlier vehicle, the 57 through 60 full-size Fords. And they're going to have a smaller diameter spindle right here, so they're going to take those specific bearings. Obviously you want to use the correct bearings. You can test fit them all, they should fit on, and of course you got to get it lined up just perfectly and it'll slide right on. Same deal with the smaller one. Should just slide right on, and if it doesn't, it's probably because you have a little bit of junk sitting right here. Try to get this entire thing as clean as you possibly can. As we move down to the rotor, we're about to load it. However, we're going to need to make sure we clean out the inside of this, and also make sure that you have the correct size races. The races that were put in here, at least for mine, were for the smaller bearings, and so they fit correctly. They do not fit with the bigger bearings. They sit way too high and they just wouldn't work right. So you have to change out your races if you're going to use most likely the bigger bearings. Spray everything down with some good brake clean, and then get a nice clean rag and just wipe it out. Anything that's in there, try to get it out. Do it from both sides. Next step is to grab some high temperature wheel bearing grease, and we gotta pack our bearings. So I got a bunch in my hand, and then I just start pushing it into the bearing. And as I'm doing this, I'm watching, because the grease is gonna start popping out of the top naturally. Not because I put it in from the top, but because I'm pushing it through from the bottom. This is how you pack your bearings. Gloves are nice too. And as it starts to come out the top like that, just rotate your bearing a little bit. Keep going. Do this until you get all the way around. You get grease coming out of the whole top, and then move on to the other bearing. Now it's time to put the loaded bearing, the back bearing, into the back side of this rotor. Get it nice and seated. I always like to put some grease on the inside of this as well before I put these bearings in. And then when it's time to put this seal in. And it's best if you have a seal driver, or if you have a piece of 2x4, you can put it over it and beat it down. Just try to make sure you get it down evenly. And that's that. And we turn it over, and we'll put that other bearing on once we slide this onto the spindle. Now it's time to put this bracket on. You want to make sure that you grab the correct bolts for it. So a big one, small one, as well as the nuts. These nuts have nylon inserts into them that keep them from backing off later on. Once everything's on loosely, go ahead and tighten these down. Then we can move on, put that rotor on. With the bracket tight, we can slide on our brake rotor, put on our outer bearing, and we'll put our washer and our nut and get everything torqued down the way it's supposed to be. One thing I forgot to mention before you put this on, put a little bit of grease on that seal on the inside. Just don't want it to be dry. All right, at this point, now we gotta tighten everything. And so I like to tighten that down quite a bit to start with, but it's gonna make those bearings seat. And that's what we want. We do not, absolutely not want this to be loose. So once we're sure everything is seated, and we back it off, and then we tighten until we start to have just a little bit of resistance. That feels pretty good. It's kind of a feel type of thing, so if this is your first time, take your time. The next step is to install one of these little, I guess it'd be like a nut retainers that keeps it from rotating as you go. It's got these little tabs that stick out. Your cotter pin is going to go through the hole in the spindle and through that, and that's what's going to keep it from moving. So whenever you adjust this, you want to adjust it to where you can get your cotter pin all the way through. And if you have to move this nut just a little bit to make it to where this will fit. I would suggest just loosening it rather than tightening it. The last step is to put this dust cap on. It's going to be a pretty darn tight fit. And you don't necessarily want to hit on the outside of this because you're going to dent it up, especially if you have wheels that have this visible. Best thing to do is to take a piece of 2-inch pipe. It'll slide right over it, and then use a hammer and drive it in. Just like that. Still turns perfectly. Nothing is catching. Next step is going to be putting these brake calipers in. And that's not a hard thing to do by any means. But these are the only part of this that are side to side specific. So the main thing is put this on the side that has the bleeder facing up. Don't forget, put a little bit of lube of some sort on these because these are slider pins that these brake calipers slide on. And that is the finished product. The only thing left is to put that new hose on from back here and then connect it right up there. But as you can see, bleeder screw is up, everything is nice and tight. I do recommend that you clean your rotors front and back before you run this. It's going to be a while before I run it, so I'm not going to clean them yet. I don't want them to flash rust on me. And that's it. Excellent upgrade to do to any old car, especially 4-wheel drum brakes with single pot master cylinders. This kit comes with the dual pot master cylinder, which means that whenever I install that, I'm going to have to make some brake lines to be able to do this. I have to decouple the rear brakes from the front brakes, but that's something for a whole different video. If you guys got some value out of this, you wouldn't mind, hey, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys are working on, and if you wouldn't mind, hit that like button. Until next time, stay challenged, my friends.